All right, y'all. So here they're asked to plot all the existing 5 features of a rational function. So we're going to plot, we'll start with the vertical asymptote. That's the first one they're asking for. So again, you always want to factor the polynomial first. So, well, not polynomial, I'm sorry. You want to factor the function first. So if we factor, we get 4 times x plus 3. The bottom is going to become x plus 3 times x minus 3 via the difference of squares. And so x plus 3 divide out, and I'm left with 4 over x minus 3. Okay, so as is usually the case when you look for the vertical asymptote, you actually end up finding the whole. So the whole exists when x is equal to -3 because you would be left with 0 over 0. So this would become 0 and this would become 0, and you don't want that. That's indeterminate. So if I want to figure out the y component, then I would plug into the remaining function, which is in this brown color. So this would be 4 over -3 minus 3, which gets me 4 over -6, which is -2/3. So that tells me my whole is at -3 comma -2/3. And I've done other videos based upon this. So if you need a more thorough count, please look to that. But for the vertical asymptote, going back to that, what the equation you're left with, you set equal to 0. So we say x minus 3 equals 0, and x is 3. So we know we have a vertical asymptote at x equals 3. All right. Next up, they say, what's the horizontal asymptote? So the horizontal asymptote well, I guess I'll just call it asymptote. Should I spell that right? Yep. Okay. Where's that? Well, you basically look at your power. So in the numerator you have 1 is the highest degree, and the denominator you have 2. This is what we call bottom heavy, and so it's growing faster at the bottom. So if you're growing faster at the bottom, you're having this effect of like 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5. And what that means is you're getting smaller and smaller and closer to 0. So this is going to become y equals 0. Okay, so we got the horizontal asymptote. Now we just need the x-intercept. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. So if y equals 0, remember we're playing with what's left over. Well, there is none. Because if you look right here, you're basically saying 0 equals 4, so there's none. We'll go on to the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So if we take, again, this equation, and we set it equals 0, we get -4/3. And so we get 0, -4/3. And there we have it. And so we got all the 5 components, and then we can draw the picture. So let's say the graph is going to, let's do it like this. So what do we know? We know, let me do the horizontal vertical. So vertical is at x equals 3. And horizontal is at y equals 0. Okay. And we have some points here. There is no x-intercept, which makes sense because we have a horizontal asymptote at 0. And then the y-intercept at 0, -4/3. So we'll go to 0, -4/3. And this tells us that we're going to have a graph kind of like this and like this. And then for fun, we can definitely type it into Desmos just to make sure that we are correct. So let's do that. So let's go to Desmos. Let's graph it. So y equals 4x plus 12. The denominator is x squared minus 9. And let's see. Yep, pretty much matches up with what I just said. So we are good. We are good. There are no issues. All right. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll see you in the next math video.